Hello, and welcome to my hands on this wonderful, wonderful episode. Yeah, we're gonna do some fixing today. Not necessarily fixing, just more like returning everything back to its original state. So this right here is a 3090, MSI 3090 Suprim X, and this has been in this water block. It's come out, and I've repatted before at least once, I think. But this baby here has been under the block for probably, let's see, a little over two, but actually, you know what? Pretty close to like 2 years. So I think 2 years is like when I first started water cooling, and this baby right here was the first thing that was like, hey, you need to water cool, buddy. So yeah, I can see there's still a little bit of liquid in the cooler there. So we're gonna be a little bit careful with that today, but we're gonna be taking that off, and we're gonna be putting this guy right here back on. Now here's the handy thing. When I took this off, I kept everything exactly where it ought to be, so we can just put that right back on there. Of course, we're gonna repaste it, but let's get some paper towels down here. First of all, I want to say thank you for joining me, Robloxix. Didn't see you for a while, but I'm glad you're back hanging out. At least tonight with me on stream. That's good news. I'm happy about that. But yeah, we're gonna take this block off, and the first step is gonna be taking this bridge off. This thing has an active backplate. So one of the wonderful and horrible things about the 3090s is that they came with memory on the back. Wonderful thing is that you got 24 gigs of memory. The horrible thing is that it's a pain in the butt to cool. So a lot of aftermarket coolers, including EK and a few others, this is a Bykski block, they all came out with active backplate cooling. Now this backplate is actually pretty funny because this backplate is pure copper. So it's plated copper, and this thing is probably, I don't know what, 5 mil-ish thick. Maybe not 5 mil. It's pretty thick, and it's copper. And so this thing weighs a lot. Like actually this, I think the stock cooler versus this, actually this block weighs more than the stock cooler. Now, granted, this block is a lot narrower than your stock cooler. So look, you've got your stock cooler here. Yeah, so you're saving a lot of space. And actually, accurately, if you want to look, you should be looking at the PCB this way on how thick it is. This thing is like just absolutely massive. And I'm going to be talking about this before I put her on. But first, we're going to take this baby, we're going to pop her open, and we're going to see just sort of what's been going on in those 2 years. I'm going to talk about the pads that we got in there. Oh, I'll put it here so you can see. It comes with an Allen key, but the Allen key that comes with this, I think the one that came with this guy it just wasn't the right size. So, but this is the tricky thing with a lot of these backplate cooler ones, the bridging the two blocks just adds a whole other level of complexity to your install. So, just being able to make sure that your blocks are installed properly, and then adding this bridge in to bring it. So here with this one, you get your water coming in here. It would run through the front channels and then come up, travel across, and then go through the back channel and then come out towards your CPU cooler or towards your rad, depending on whether you had them all in the same the deal there. Now, when you see a lot of these PC channels, they're doing like disassemblies, and they're talking about keeping track of your hardware and stuff. One of the great things about this MSI card is basically all of the hardware. So I just kept in this little baggie. All of the hardware is the exact same size, everything. So unless I lost some hardware, we'll find out. I'm pretty sure I got it all there, but we'll see. If I lost some, then this is going to be a much more entertaining live stream than I thought. So I'm going to take these guys out of the way and just sort of place them off to the side. I've got a little spot for them to hang out in. So we're going to pop this guy off. Oh, we got one more. Just going to pop this off, break it. It's all right. We're putting the stock cooler on. We can break this block. Yeah. Usually having a water block on it isn't necessarily a big benefit for selling your card. It's more of a benefit, I would say, maybe with like talking about how it was taken care of, because a water block on the card is a nice, much nicer way of treating your card over the duration of its life cycle. So here you can see the entry points here for the water going in. And basically, if you wanted to, you could take the active backplate off and just run it with this. But so I'm actually, let's see, how are we going to do this? You know what? I'm going to place this guy on that. And then I'm just going to lean this. So that should keep the liquid in the bottom. And then you guys can see what I'm doing on the back. All right. One of the things I didn't like about this card, and okay, let's see. That's not the right size. Where is, there's, let's get a smaller. It's not a Phillips #1. That is a Phillips, probably what? It's a 00 maybe? Let's see, Phillips 00. Yeah, that fits nicely. So let me just take some of these off. The good news about this is that you have your screws that go through, and one of the things I don't know, these blocks came with not the best quality thermal pads, and one of the things with these cards, they decided, yeah, we're going to combine GDDR6X memory, which is extremely hot and needs a lot of cooling, and we're going to combine them with just really weak cooling solutions. I'm going to talk to you about the cooling solution, the stock cooling solution on the MSI cooler, and it's a really weird one. So you're gonna see, but the block design here is pretty simple. You see, you got your this block here, which sort of, or not block, this like barrier, which guides the water around and just helps spread it around. You can actually see even like heat in the back here. There's a little bit of discoloration in the block just from the heat of the memory modules, and just having that on the back of the card, you can understand now a little bit more clearly why they decided to do that sort of there we go. We're gonna take this off. It's a little bit smushed on here. Let's see, make sure I'm not pulling on. No, they're all out. So we're gonna come on. They're a little bit smushed for the most part. Come on. This might be a little bit tricky. Just peel it nice and gently away. There we go. Pops off. Beautiful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So we had a little, oh yeah, these pads are crusty. Crusty pads. Let's see what that little oil splotch there is. It's got me wondering, am I going to run out of top towels here? I might. Let's see here, though. First things first, where is my little scraper? My little scraper, where'd you go? I had a little scraper here. And I lost it. Yeah. Here we had a little, yeah, there's like a little blob of like oil that just leached out of these pads. So these are, I believe these are the, yeah, these things are crumbelievable. So, yeah, these guys got dry. But these guys are, I think on the back pads on this, I originally was running the Thermalright pads, but they were too hard and they were causing the PCB to bend a little, and I wasn't happy with that. And so I switched them up with the Gelid Extreme pads, which are a little bit softer, and they ended up being much, much better overall. So right now, though, I'm just gonna give this baby a wipe. Oof. Yeah, just gonna give this guy a wipe, and we're gonna set this aside. Yeah. So the back end of this, nothing too fancy with it. Just a flat copper plate, some little reliefs machined in it to clear some pins, and also a little bit of hardware in here. So yeah, you've got some standoffs on it, which are helping space it so you're clearing these components as well. So overall, fairly simple, but you know, thick copper, this thing weighs a ton. So I'm just going to place this off to the side here, and we're going to continue on with our little deal here. So got a little bit more hardware here to remove, and I'm going to take this plate off here next. Now this was a little bit of a jimmy rig here that I did. This kit for some reason didn't come with a new I/O bracket, and there was no real hardware to hold it, so I had to sort of decide on my own here. So I used some hardware that came with it, some extra screws. Actually, I think these are screws that came with, these might be screws that came with the card itself, so I'm gonna keep those just in case. But yeah, so I used some plastic pieces here, and I spaced this I/O bracket off with them, and I used some standoffs from the other side to hold it on. It was vertically mounted for the most part, so there was very, very little stress on it. But just in some of these other kits, it's much nicer as far as what they had on there. So let's give these memory modules a little wiping off here, and oh yeah, that looks nice and pretty once we get these dusty bits off here. So yeah, most of the activity that these guys were seeing, now not much activity was seen with these pads on. Before, I had some Gelid Extremes on the backside as well, and those were really nice. It's just when I switched out, so I was doing some mining with this card, and with the Waterblock, that is. So the Waterblock was there to keep these memory modules nice and chilly, and they were always, hotspots were always below 70 with the block on there, so it was nice for that. So these memory modules have been practically babied. Even though they were mining, they've been practically babied their whole lives, and they're looking nice. We'll get a close up. I just want to take this front block off before I forget and just like dump the remaining liquid out onto the table, which very well could happen. Hey, how's it going, Rowan? Welcome. I got so engrossed I didn't even see you there. Sorry. I get so into this stuff. It's my passion. So I'm gonna cap this alcohol over here. Not alcohol that I'm drinking, rubbing alcohol. All right. Okay, we're gonna take some of these screws out of here now. Oh, come on. Oh, that's not it. Come on. For some dumb reason, they switch. So yeah, these here. In fact, I don't know where those ones are from. Those don't seem... No, those should be. It's like, are those from the kit? I don't know. We'll see. And one of the things that these cards are really exceptional at, as far as just what they can do, these are the last of the SLI. There's a cover on this bridge here. It's NVLink actually for these ones, not SLI anymore. That's old timer speak for dual GPU setup stuff. But yeah. Yeah, this is actually a really fun aspect of uh, having this hardware for me, is just like being able to talk about it and share it with other people. So one of the big pains in the butt with these GPUs, and actually you'll probably see partway through the disassembly process. So this kit has these nice little, they're spring loaded. So there's like little springs on these, and basically for applying even pressure on the GPU die. So the GPU die is right on the other end of this mess of componentry here. And that is the, these are holding the cooler on the front onto that. And that's sort of one of the most critical aspects of this. Usually when you're installing this card or any sort of cooler or something, you're going to be making sure that you're getting good pressure on the GPU die to get that cooling. If not, you're going to get hot spots, and that's going to cause a lot of issues. And when you're installing an aftermarket block, you are typically increasing the risk of those, well, not necessarily increasing the risk of those issues, but you're introducing the possibility of it. More so, I would say, just because different manufacturers, they've got tolerances on heights of components and all that they are typically going to have, and they're not going to be really sharing that with like third-party manufacturers like Bykski or EK or whoever really is out there. So we're just gonna gently peel this guy off. Oof, gently. There you go. That is the front side of the GPU. So yeah, these pads that are on the front side, these are the, get that out of there. These are the Gelid Extreme pads. So these are a little bit, these are still in decent shape. And actually these pads, I don't think I've done too much with them, but yeah. So these pads, they're actually nice, decent quality. You can see they're not really leaving a residue as much. They're not quite as crumbly as the other pads, those Zezio pads, which are sort of an off-brand. Ooh, they're getting a little crumbly there, though. I spoke too soon. But no, look at this. This peeling off from, they're fairly flexible still. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, you can definitely tell a difference between the two. That's for sure. These are a lot softer still. There are still some hard areas of them, but yeah. Let me just get this here all scraped off. God. Because under here is our hot components. So under here is the these are the MOSFETs, I think, is what they're called. Correct me if I'm wrong, electronic folks out there, wherever you may be. But yeah, these are the MOSFETs, I believe. And these MOSFETs get hot. Hot, hot, hot. So I'm just sort of peeling from the side here. Trying not to put too much shear on them. I don't know. It's just not a good idea to put shear on electrical components, I don't think. So yeah, and this line of pads that were here, those were actually sitting on these guys right here. And on a lot of these blocks, including blocks from, not just blocks from Bykski, but also Alpha Cool, I believe, a lot of them do not have any, yeah, here we're getting some dried bits. A little bit more of a pain there, but not the end of the world. Right, not the end of the world. These are a little dusty. But, and one of the things I really like these pads did not leak much oil at all. And so a lot of these pads, they have like a silicone oil in them. So you can see a little bit of a shine here, right around where these pads were. And that's from just oil leaking out of them. And these thankfully did not leak too much. And I think that's kind of So these things like the capacitors here, these don't typically get warm, and you don't typically have cooling on those. These here, I believe they do have cooling on here, but some cards don't even have cooling on these guys. I know EVGA on their cards, they had a paste that they had on these, and that was really annoying to clean off. But here we are. We got this here. We're gonna finish getting rid of these pads off of here. We're gonna give that a little wipe, and then we're gonna set it aside. Because yeah, what you want to see is like just a nice crush pattern too on these, because that means that you're pushing against your components, and really that's what you want, is the components to smush against your thermal pads and to leave an indentation in them. So if you take stuff apart and there's not a lot, and this is one of the things interesting about this, the memory modules didn't really smush these pads as much as you would think, and that was a little bit weird for me, and that might have explained somewhat of the stock Suprim X temperatures on the memory. So that's just the stock card though, but what you gonna do? There's a lot of, this is a heavy shop cloth there, just with all the those thermal pads in there. I'm gonna just get a little bit of a clean on this and then get that out of here, and we will continue on with just taking a peek at our GPU board and just see what's going on with it. What happens, or what happened with it? Just, there's nothing really wrong with it. I'm just saying what happened with it as far as you know, I know a lot of people talk about, oh, you know, mining, it destroys your graphics cards, and so let's take a look at it. Let's see. You know, because my argument always was mining doesn't hurt your graphics cards. Mining doesn't hurt your hardware. It's actually the temperatures and the environment that it's in. You know, you see a lot of reports about, you know, like crappy, you know, post mining hardware that, you know, it's just absolute garbage. You know, things are broken on it. There's memory modules that are getting painted to cover up burn marks and stuff. And it's like, yeah, those are people who are just running hot and heavy, didn't care about anything, right? I was using this thing. This is the most expensive piece of hardware I've ever bought, ever. And so I was treating it, oh my gosh, this thing is disgusting. I was treating it like gold, basically, because I couldn't afford to replace it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to protect my investment. I'm going to treat it well. I'm going to clean that probably a little bit later. Ooh, you saw my face. Look, it's me. So I'm going to place that down over here. That stuff ready. Okay, we're going to take this, we're going to move this over as well. Yeah, Waterblocks, to me, that's just such an interesting, I don't know, aspect of hardware that I've always been fascinated with, like cooling hardware. Like if you've seen pictures of my PC, I've got 3 radiators, and it's a little bit excessive, but again, it's not, I'm not claiming it's a necessity. I'm fully acknowledging and owning that it's more than it needs to be, right? So it's, yeah, so here, let's take a little peek at this now. And you know what, maybe should I zoom in a little bit? Let me zoom in with the camera here. There's a manual zoom here. Not manual, digital zoom. Boop. Ooh. Does that look fancy? Look at that. Now we can see it a lot closer. A lot more in depth. Let me also just make sure I can focus that. There we go. Is that better or no? We'll do it like that. Yeah, we'll just go like that. So first we'll clean off these memory modules. Oh, there's a blob of pads on there. So as far as cleaning these modules off and getting them ready for the other cooler to go on, the main goal with cleaning them is not necessarily getting into every single nook and cranny to get stuff out. It's more so making sure that top surface is clean, that there's no dust there, that there's no residual bits of the this cloth that I'm using. You you know, the shop rags that I'm using, or you know, that there's no leftover pad residue. Not necessarily residue, like the residue is not really an issue so much. It's more so the bits that'll cause potentially uneven seating of the pads, or a little junk in here. See, for me, it's like, that's so annoying. What am I going to use for that? I don't want to use a needle because I don't want to scratch traces. Oh, I've got a little brush. Dun dun dun. Beautiful. Look at that. I can even get in the nooks and crannies with this brush. Heyo. Look at that. That's satisfying. And it's gentle. It's relatively soft too, so it's not gonna just leave a big old mess here on this. I'll wipe up these bits now that came off. Whew. That's not bad at all. That's from my my power duster. The keyboard cleaning attachment. There you go. If you need to clean out little bits of thermal pads that are still residually resting around there, there you go. I might give this a little blow too after. Not cocaine. Air. All right, come on. Come on. Get your minds out of there, guys. Come on. Gonna get them some air. Let's get that GPU die cleaned off. This guy here. Yeah, and I've had some interesting, let's just say I've had some interesting experiences with different thermal pastes here. And I'll let you in on a little secret. What I'm going to be repasting this with is not Thermal Grizzly. Because I had it, okay, so I had an interesting experience with this card. And this card specifically, in the vertical mount. So it was mounted vertically, like I was saying. I had it vertically because this guy here was not really holding it very nicely. You know, and I didn't want to like just snap off the end here where it was mounted by just 2 screws, because this whole thing weighs like 2 kilos with that block on there, and actually maybe a little bit more when there's water in the block. Like the block dry, I think, is like 2 kilos. So interestingly enough, I had this for like the first year or so, and you know, I would always be like checking on it because, you know, I'm a little bit paranoid. Again, like I said, it's the most expensive piece of hardware I've ever had. So I'm always like checking it, making sure, you know, temperatures are good and this and that. And lo and behold, I started noticing that there was a hotspot developing. Now, after installing the cooler, so before I did the cooler, I wanted to also do a check too with, because you have hotspot on the GPU die, right? So you have your GPU die here, right? And this baby here, you know, you want to have that fully covered with paste. And if there's any spot on this that doesn't have paste, and there's like thermal sensors throughout this silicon here, and they all are providing readings. And when you see your GPU temperature in like a game or something, usually that's an average of all your sensors in there, right? And hotspot temperature though is taking the hottest sensor and giving you that reading. And so usually your hotspot will be probably, I've seen on stock cards, anywhere from 10 to like 15 degrees different Celsius. So Celsius, like, so if your card is running at 70 degrees Celsius, your hotspot could be 80, 85 degrees Celsius. And that's not necessarily an issue, especially like if it's, you know, well below TDP, or not TDP, but TJ Max for your GPU. So you're gonna find, so I was looking at it, and initial installation, actually the initial installation of this, I had like a 25-degree hotspot on it, and I was like, oh no, what's going on? And in that moment, I realized that the issue I had was the GPU, or the thermal pads I got, they were too hard, and because they were too hard, they were spacing the cooler away from the GPU die, and so I wasn't even getting like full paste spread on it. And so I did an X pattern when I first did it, because I usually do an X pattern on my CPUs, and I was like, oh yeah, that's usually fine. It squishes and it goes out to the edges and everything. But there was like a little like area here that didn't have any paste on it, and just sort of little V-shaped areas here, here, and here that didn't have paste on it. And basically, I was like, I noticed it. I was like, oh crap, took it out, took it off, and I was like, oh man, can't use it until I get these new pads. So I had to get some thinner pads, and then I also got thinner, but also because I had 2mm pads, and I got, I think, 1.5mm ones that were softer material, and that all smushed down really nicely. So, all right, here we go. We are good. Let's see, these modules look like they're brand new. There's no heat marks on it, and I know then when I took this guy apart before, there was the one over here that had like a little oil spot on it, and there's nothing happening on that one either. Like, I'll bring it up even like closer, and I'll focus this in here. Let's focus this here. Yeah, so you're seeing here, like, let's get this little bit off here. Yeah, these babies look like they're brand new. Get this all. I'm gonna take this over here. I'll vacuum after this. But yeah, there we go. Let's bring that back in here. Yeah, look at that. That looks like it's pretty much brand new. Get there. It's a little junk stuck in there. There we go. Beautiful. Flip her over. Isn't that beautiful? So, no issues with any of these. Everything's looking nice. A little bit of oil from the pads leaked onto the board. That's normal. There's oil coming out of the stock pads over here too, so that's not an issue. So we got that. This guy here is going to be, all right, so all right, first things first. So now let's take a little look here at the MSI cooling solution. All right, I'm gonna take the card. We're gonna put the card over here. I'm gonna get this guy over here, and we're gonna adjust our focus because we're a little bit out of focus here. Look at this. So this thing is a beast. This is like one of the best coolers of the 3090s that was made. Plain and simple. That's just the ins and outs of it right here. And it's absolutely massive, like very thick cooler. And I know, like, with the 3090s, people are looking at this and they're like, meh, not really. But yeah, it is. For the 3090s, it is. let's just get that out there right now. An interesting part of this front part, so you've got your memory cooling solutions here, or sections here. Your GPU die hits this plate here, which is polished, but the issue is that this is actually just a flat piece of copper. New 4090s, they have some of the 4090s, they have like a vapor chamber here, but you have a heat pipe that comes around and kind of touches your cooling solution for your memory modules. And this is a weird one right here for me, is these memory modules actually are just not even on this copper plate, which has all the heat pipes coming through, but these ones actually touch this copper heat pipe, and To be honest, I'm not sure if this copper heat pipe is to take heat away from here and bring it over here, or if it's to bring heat from here and bring it over here, because you've got like a little aluminum fin stack here, right? And so there's like generally an open area where there's a bunch of heat pipes that are traveling through here. And then on the other side, you've got your fan, which is blowing directly down onto that. Ignore the slight bits of cat hair in there. You see nothing. You see nothing, internet. All right. But yeah. So that to me is kind of an interesting thing. You got your crushed heat pipe here that goes through. You've got some additional pieces here that attach on. You've got, you've got a flattened out fins here that then allow for transmission of heat from this part to the fin stack. And those I believe are soldered in place. And you've got, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ends of heat pipes here. So this is the very beginning of the card. This is the very end of the card here. And you've got your heat pipes also going through there. And this is just, massive fin stack. You've got heat pipes going throughout. You've got your air pass-through design. Well, not really pass-through, because guess what? This guy came and he said, no, you're not going to pass anything through here. You shall not pass, Gandalf style. But yeah, basically what you're looking at here is this is going to be like so. Yeah. So you've got your line of components right there. Yeah. So you've got this thermal pad is going to be resting on these babies. This is going to be resting on those. These, which are the hot ones, they're going to be resting on this piece here. And then this right here is going to be resting on these. These components don't really need direct cooling. Neither do these even. These are the critical ones. These heat up real hot and they need to be kept real cool. So you've got your bigger heat solutions on those. And of course these guys, and then this guy here is the big papa as far as heat goes. So yeah, it's an interesting card, this one. But here's a cool element here. So you've got a thermal pad right here on this part, and this is actually attached in and connected to a few portions of the fin stack here to bring heat from here into the fin stack. And what that actually connects to is your backplate. And that actually connects to these two heat pipes. So the backplate on this is such a funny one to me. So look at this. You've got your back memory, which touches on these thermal pads here, here, and here. This one is just touching the aluminum backplate. And the aluminum backplate looks pretty nice, right? Like, look at that. That looks beautiful, But you've got this here is just sort of touching some of the circuits on the back, but mostly what you're talking about here is heat, moving heat away from these. And these crushed heat pipes here, these copper heat pipes, these are going to bring that heat. So they move heat. So heat comes from here and it moves along to here. Heat comes from here, moves along to here. And this is where the heat sort of joins. And those two are touching this guy here. And so you got sort of like a weird little semi-active backplate cooling, but not really. And here's the funny thing. You've got two different thicknesses of thermal pads that are sitting on your memory modules on the back, which is a really weird idea, in my opinion. Not sure why they went that way, but hey, you know what? They're the engineers. I'll leave it to them. No, actually, it's probably not even the engineers that did that. They probably had a really great solution, and then marketing was like, nah, it's going to cost too much money. Because that's how it always goes. So let's get this baby back together, shall we? And I believe the first step is going to be putting this reinforcement plate on. So this guy here actually sits right here. And that, I believe, so let me first count out these pieces here. These screws, just so we're not screwed at the end of the day. 2, 4, all right. So I'm like talking about it. I'm not even showing them. Here we go. Here's some screws. Here's all the screws. Actually, I'm going to change this back to the bigger view just so we can. There we go. Now you guys can see a little bit better. Everything looks so small now. So small and manageable. So yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Lucky 13 screws. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 screws. So I'm pretty sure that these two that I saved, and I was like, I think these belong to the card from before. I think that's the ticket. Yeah, these guys are mounting right into here. I think I reused them from before. Yeah, these do not mount in there at all. Good. Smart. Oh, I made a good decision. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for that. All right. So these, I believe, we're going to just place this guy like so. So you got your, there is a thermal pad in here because there is a component that this is going to be cooling. And it's this baby right here. So we're going to reposition that. And yeah, we're going to flip this baby upside down. And we're just going to align those holes and get this going. It's going to feel good to have this on there. This is one thing I really didn't like about the cooler, is that it didn't allow you to keep this plate on there. And this plate, in my opinion, is absolutely critical for using this I/O plate, right? And they didn't provide an I/O plate. There's actually on the cooler itself, I'll show you. It's like there's actually no there's no accommodation. Let's just say there's no accommodation for. Oh shoot, there's these guys too. Oh, wait. It's those three. Was it those three little bitties that I didn't. Oh, where did those guys go? That is a good question. Maybe it's those three other ones that were different. I had those three other ones that were different. Where did I put them? Where did I put them? They were different. So I separated them and I put them somewhere. I just got to remember where I put them. And this is why you watch me live. Because when I start misplacing things, it gets entertaining. Let's see. Thought I put them there. Where, oh where did they go? Where did I put them? That is a very good question. A very good question indeed. Must have put them somewhere. Oh, did I screw those screws? There are some screws that I screwed back in. Did I screw them back into here, maybe? That would have been smart. There are some screws that are screwed back in. I just noticed. I think they're, you know what? That's what I did, is I screwed the screws back in that were different. Okay, so two of those are there. Those two are there. This is the tricky part here. So when I get disorganized, I make mistakes. Let's see. Did I? No, not in there. Got that bracket. That's fine. I don't think these go in there. I don't believe those go in there. No, they don't. Pretty sure they are additional ones that look very much like those. Oh, did I maybe keep them separate in the box? I'll be right back. Let me check out that box. Well. Oh, I think I found them. They're right here. Now, the real question is, are they the right ones? That is the real question. They definitely are not. Dang it. Now what? What? These guys definitely aren't either, though. So that is a bit of a pickle. Where would I have put them? Or are they? No, this wouldn't. This guy goes like so. These do not screw into any of that. Yeah. So these all go there. These go here. I've got those other two right there. This is interesting, to say the least. Very interesting. Do these actually even screw into the cooler? They do screw into the cooler. This is a conundrum indeed. I would have thought that it would have, well, it would have been smart of me to actually thread those screws back into there, but I didn't for some weird reason. I thought, it's okay. There's one other area it might be, and that might be the box for the water cooler itself. But that is a bit of a, it's a bit of a reach. Let's just be honest. I'll have to double check, and we'll see. Like, this isn't a stopping everything kind of deal. This is something I can actually add later on. No, these. Okay, yeah, those screws go through there. First, those screws need to hold on to this guy. So I believe, yeah. Yeah, these screws need to come out. I need to actually add the bracket on first. And then this guy's going to need to, all right, feeling this is going to have to, yeah. We're going to do it like this, Okay. Yep, this is the joy of, you know, having hardware for a long time. You forget where things go. Yay. All right. Not the end of the world. I'm pretty sure these are common thread size. Come on, you. There we are. Don't want to cross thread this. There we go. And that other one's scurried over here, yeah. I'm going to have to think about where I put those. Yeah, I guess threading in nicely. Okay. Well, we can add it later. Because we can add these other screws there. There's access to put those in later. They're not going to restrict anything, really. There's nothing they'll restrict. All right. Get some paste on there. And let's see, we'll take these guys out over here and here. These actually, I believe, go through. Yeah, those go through the, yeah, those go through the backplate. See, lesson for next time. Just re-thread the screws in everywhere where they ought to go. See? It's all right. You know what? I believe that luck is what you make it. So, you know what? Touching wood wouldn't have done anything. These screws here, we're going to leave. Actually, we'll leave those on because those... Actually, no, I'm going to take those off because I need to access those later. So rather than forcing a repaste, we'll take those out. Those are going to be for the end portion, so we'll be good. We'll be good. See, and this is the benefit of having this all. All your pads are cut and ready to go. So we're just going to spread some paste on there. So I'm going to be using some NTH1. And oh, yeah, I was talking before about why I'm not using Thermal Grizzly on there. So I've got a big old tube of Thermal Grizzly. Cryonaut here, yeah. This guy here, awesome, super high performing, but I noticed I was getting hot spots because I was looking at temperatures on this all the time. And I took it apart, and the paste actually was starting to move as like a single blob down off of it. And I don't know. That to me was kind of like, maybe it has something more to do with the block itself. But yeah, we're just going to use this NTH1, which is a nice paste that just really spreads nicely. We're just going to lob that on there like so. And we're going to spread it around. Spread the love. I like this this tool here. This is like a children's Play-Doh tool. And what it does is it actually leaves like ridges. Kind of like you're doing like tiles. I'm gonna add a bit more. You can always take a little bit off, but actually not. I'm gonna move this hardware away. I don't want to be resting that on the hardware while I'm pushing on it. Just not a good strategy, right? Yeah. So it leaves little grooves like you're doing tiles, which I kind of like, because it's like, oh, those will smush down. Just gonna try and get that excess there. Good. We'll just spread this like so. Just leave that. There. Nice little spread on there. We've got full coverage on it. Oh, there's some little spots there that are showing. Oh, okay. Oops. Wrong one. Here we go. Push a tiny bit more out. You're never going to have too much on your GPU die. Unless you're doing like liquid metal on there or something. But, you know, if you're putting just like normal non-conductive thermal paste on there, there's really no such thing as too much. Let's just be real. Okay. And this Noctua paste just really, it spreads really nicely. Get that on there. Just there we go. The main goal is to get it on there nicely, and then we'll do a final check afterwards. Obviously, after I'm done putting this all together, I'm going to do a check, not on stream, but I'm going to do a check where I'll run some thermal benchmarks and just make sure that, again, there's no hot spots, everything's sitting properly as it ought to, the fans and everything are working properly, and all that good stuff, you know? All right, so now what we're going to do is, because you have this guy here. Yeah, these. Oh, those? Wait a second. I'm just thinking. These three babies right here. No, they don't go through there because we have, let's see. Is there any pieces? Just looking. No, those holes go through. Those in the middle, those go through. We've got 2 on the top, 3, 4. Yeah, just making sure that there's no like hardware that sort of is underneath. No, everything goes through the backplate in that way. So there we go. So this guy is now going to go ahead and rest on here, like so. Yeah, I've got to plug some cables in now. Thankfully, those hardware bits are there. This is going to be a little bit of a tricky part. Let's get these guys here first. This out of the way. So, thankfully, they're all color-coded, and all your cables are going to be sort of pre-bent in the direction they need to go. So, plug that in. Plug this in. It's nowhere near as finicky and as temperamental as, say, like the cables on your Founders Edition. Those I'm not looking forward to doing anything on. Actually, you know what? Those should be last probably, because those actually have a lot easier access. Yeah, I'm gonna take those out. Come on. Come on. Oh, of course. Like, this is the awkward aspect of trying to stream and do something technical. You can't really, I'm like trying to like look at it. I'm trying to talk into the microphone. I'm like, this is not going to happen very easily. Of course. All right, I'm like dragging a piece of, yeah, like I hear a screw getting dragged. I'm going to move these over. There we go. Good. I should have taken a peek at this first. Actually, no, I shouldn't have taken a peek at this first. I should have just used some common sense. That's what I should have done. There we go. All right, we're going to get these guys. Oh, these guys are actually decently long, but we're going to look at this anyways. We got our flat side there. How do these go in? Should I just like, there's like these little cables here that go in to here and here. So annoying. Let's see here. I can't see anything from this angle. I can see about as much as you guys can. Actually, you know what? Let me just bring this like so. Let me see. Am I trying to put these in upside down? There should be an orientation. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Pins are near the top. Just try not to sandwich some of these pins in. Okay. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, gosh. This is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Like, thankfully, these wires are not super short. Okay, there we go. Good. Success with the red. Don't cut the red wire. There we go. Red is in. Black is in. 10-4. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now we align these folks. And we pretty much, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this die on. So here's another tricky part. This guy. Oh, these guys are so annoying. But let's see if we can do it. These spring-loaded guys. They're a little bit terrifying for me. I wish I had like some sort of a tool, because it's... Oh, I think I got it. Yes. Yes. I got it. I was like talking about how terrifying it was. Honestly, this is the part that I'm always more scared of, is these spring-loaded things. I hate them. I feel like there's such a potential for like cross-threading, but you know, you just gotta roll with the punches, you know? There we go. That guy's in. Guy's in. We tighten this guy down. We tighten this guy down. Yeah. Good news is that the hardware just sort of bottoms out. So there's not a lot of guesswork. You just go until it bottoms out. You don't have to like figure out torque or anything. It just, as soon as it bottoms out, you're good. All right. Now we can relaxingly insert these. You know, just chill and put them in. Like we always wanted to. There we go. And that's a stiff cable right there, my friends. My friends. There we go. Boom. In. Cables connected. Now, we put the old backplate on. You just set it and forget it. All right, see? Now you can see that thermal pad right there, right? And here's one of the things, right? That when people are like complaining, and I'm guilty of this as well, because I have complained as well about that new connector from NVIDIA. So NVIDIA's got that 16-pin connector. Look at this though. That is a lot of board that's added on there just to accommodate these 3 8-pins. And this, I don't even think can properly do 600 watts. This is like 450 watts. That 16-pin thing is like that big. And so you can knock off like a full inch of board, you know, full 25 millimeters off that board. You know, one of the things I love about this is, there we go. All right. So yeah, we got a little bit of a flex going on here with the board, but you know what? Once we get this plate on, we will be good as gold. And I will say this about, oh, didn't have to put that on yet. Good news though. There we go. Put that baby on. All right. Now we do the old classic. Okay, put that piece in. This is the old yeah, I guess I'll put that one on next. So this is how you do the when you're installing a valve cover gasket. I use the old valve cover gasket methodology for installing. So you start sort of in the center, and then you sort of work your way out in circles to sort of evenly push everything down. It works. I don't know if it works better or worse, but you know, I just get everything sort of relatively snug, and then we go from there, really. Get these in. Oh, come on. My hands. But yeah, it's going to be a relatively short stream tonight because I'm not going to be doing any like testing on this tonight. I'm just installing it, the cooler on it, and then we're going to just call it a night from there. But yeah. Come on. There you are. You're a bit of a pesky one. Aren't you? Aren't you? Huh. Oop. Get it over here. Oh, I didn't do in there either. Dang it. I'm just breaking all my own rules here. Don't tell the GPU board. They'll strip my license. All right, put these guys in over here, and that'll smush that thermal pad into those heat pipes to provide that extra bit of cooling. I always kind of find it funny when it's like a high-end card like this, and it's like, free game. I was like, oh, sweet, free game, really. Let's see. Yeah, you guys are all bottomed out. Yeah, there's no extra, really no extra give on those. Okay, we're going to start here. Tighten that guy down. We're going to then go, yeah, tighten this guy. Tighten this guy. Tighten this. Now tighten this. Tighten this. Let me tighten this. And then this. And then I think we didn't do that one. No, we didn't do that one. Yep. And we go here. And here. And then here. And here. Don't strip, please. Thank you. There. And there. All right. Go one more round here. Oop. Up. Up. Yep. Good. Don't want to strip those. Jeez Louise. Come on, man. You're not going to get the views I want if I'm stripping on stream. At least if I'm stripping Phillips heads. Goodness, the worst screws in the world these are. I'm telling you. I hate Phillips head screws. You want to impress me as a GPU manufacturer? Put Torx head screws on your GPUs. That will impress me. That will make me a happy camper. Look at that. Beautiful. All together. Absolutely spectacular. All I got to do is find these screws for this end here, and we're golden. Definitely not these guys. I could try and see if they work. Absolutely not. So, oh, wait. Guys, the final touch. The final touch. Let's zoom in for this final touch. This is it. The final touch. As we go in, right here, we add this sticker right back on here where I got it from. That's the don't open or your warranty's gone sticker. Bring this guy up. There you go. They peel right off. They're so useful, so effective. And also illegal. Not illegal to remove, but illegal to try and enforce. All right, let me just do a quick double check of the hardware that I took off. Just to make sure I didn't, no, it's not in any of those. I'm pretty sure it's in, you know what, before we call it a night, I think I'm gonna check. I'm going to check really quickly. Yeah, so here's the, it's a really nice looking cooler. I'm just going to check. I've got the Waterblock box right over here. So, you know what, I'm going to pop it open. I'm just going to take a real quick peek in here. Just see what I see. Oh yeah. So these pads right here, these are the pads that come with the Waterblock. They're not the best for heat transmission, but these are super squishy, which is really good for, like what I was talking about earlier, when I first installed with the other pads. It just basically like, yeah, they were so hard that they spaced the GPU off of the things. Yeah, these are the ones I used on the memory after I figured that out. And let's see, do I have that hardware in here? Oh yeah, these were the flaky guys that were on the back. of that. But yeah, these are the good ones. The old Gillid Extremes. And these were the initial ones I had. I've got all my thermal pads in this box. So I'm like looking at them like, ah, hey, oh yeah, there it is. Oh man, what is this right here? Is this it? No, that's, oh wait, no. No, I'm like finding screws in here. I'm like, is that it? No, no, not that, not that. No, not that. Oh, these are the pads from the Founders Edition. These things look like somebody took like canvas and put like glue in it. They look absolutely horrible. This is how I know I've got that hardware somewhere, because I keep everything. Okay. Okay, these guys might be something. There's some hardware in here. I don't know if it's tracking with the hardware that I need, but we'll see. It definitely will be around somewhere. That is for sure. But that's just because I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to any screws. I never throw screws out ever. And that's just a part of maybe that's one of my toxic personality traits, or maybe it's one of my my endearing personality traits. You never know. Could be one, could be the other. But let me see. Let me just double check too. Got my other little hardware cup here that has stuff in it that might be needed. What is that? Like, honestly, I've got actually, I think this actually belongs on here. This is the MSI. Yeah. It's the MSI PCIe cover. Keep that. I keep those. Oh man, I keep everything. I'm terrible for that. Let's see. No, none of these hardware pieces are for that, but let's see, we've got this guy. Oh, there we go. There's that. That belongs. That belongs. That belongs. You guys are gonna laugh, but it's not done yet. There's something else I've got here that I'm gonna put on. Because I even keep these things. These are the display the display inserts. So these go in the end here. Oof. I'm gonna refocus here. Ding. Yep. So yeah, this is the level that I go for what I don't get rid of. There. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Except I need those screws. And they're somewhere. But let me see though. I have these other screws that are just sort of hanging out here. And I'm kind of wondering. No, they wouldn't be these. Like, these would work probably in a pinch. Let me just see if these would be even the right thread. Yeah, they work. They definitely work. Yeah, so if I had to, those would be all right. I think. Actually, there's 3 of them in here. Those very well may be the ones. You know what? Until I do a more in-depth search, they will be the ones. They don't interfere with anything. They don't stick through. Yeah, let me just double check on this bottom one here. I'll be able to see very clearly if it sticks through or not. No, they don't stick through. They fit perfectly. They don't look like they don't belong. But if absolute worst comes to worst, that is what will be there. But I will check and see if I can find the others that belong there. There you have it. The MSI GeForce. Oh, wait. Check this out, too. I haven't even peeled these guys off. You get to see it, just like it's brand new. Yeah. The real perk with these cards is the 24 gigabytes of memory. And like I said earlier, that's like kind of the bane and the boon of them. Is that 24 gigs makes them excellent for like work processing types. So like if you're doing renders and that of very large files, they are absolutely perfect for that sort of thing, especially with CUDA enabled utilities. So very very good in the creator space. So these babies are beautiful. So this guy now is ready to rock and roll. Well, let's get a little wipe on there and just make sure that's nice and clean. Oof. Very last shop towel. Look at that. Perfect. There. Good to go. I'm going to double check my hardware though to see if I have that other one. This is a really nice card overall, I must say. Definitely has really ample power stage, power delivery type features. This thing collects, though, fingerprints like crazy. So there we go. No fingerprints on it. Beautiful. Looks nice. Nice and brand new almost. Really, the cooler is almost brand new. I'll do that influencer thing, you know, those PC builder influencers. They're like, look, I'm gonna spin them. Yeah, so cool. Influencing people. So there you have it. Just putting it on. And I think the critical thing, and I'm gonna just lay down some advice for anybody who's like contemplating water cooling, is that if you want a simple reinstallation of your stock cooler, say if you want to sell it, because again, having a water block on it is not really a big boost as far as selling. It sort of really narrows your niche down. You know, the people who are willing to buy a card with a water block are very few. And a lot of times you're going to get very unhappy customers who think they can just put it into their system and run it because it has a water block on it. And they don't have a custom loop in their system already. Now, if you already have a custom loop, it's really nice and very convenient, but there's not a lot of people that do that. So you narrow your sales field down, right? So, you know, let's take a look at this water block, right? So this water block right here is the front, and this is basically for cooling the front of it. And you can see how when you have that in your system, you basically narrow this down to like that, like, you know, that thick, like, you know, like very, very thin compared to the stock cooler. And it keeps it cooler than that stock cooler. But the thing that I don't like about this card, and I will say this out loud, is it is long. This is the longest card ever. And this water block doesn't really do much to shorten the card. Honestly, this water block actually goes all the way to the end there. And it even leaves some open space here on the front. And that's one of the things I didn't like about this water block is there's nothing here to like attach your bracket. So this bracket here, there's nothing to attach it onto here. So you're kind of just hanging it out there. That water block though, I'm going to clean that up. rinse it out, dry it, and probably try and sell it for a little bit. I don't know, probably not too much. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's a good water block. Oh, I was going to talk about it a bit. So as far as the pathway goes, you're going to get your water coming in, and it's going to go through this jet plate here. And these jets on here, you can see there's a bit of sediment. Maybe you can't see, I don't know. But there's a bit of sediment that collected in here. These jets, though, are pretty wide, so they are pretty resistant to any sort of clogging that comes from that. And then you've got actually water traveling over, and then it travels over to this part here even. And yeah, you've got a little water path that goes here. And I'm seeing there's a bit of corrosion inside of there. And the nickel plating is starting to sort of come off in some areas. So 2 years or so. Now, these are from AliExpress, so who knows, these might be sort of B models from Bykski, so they might not be a true reflection of the Bykski models that you'll get from their actual store. Although it is a syndicated store, so I'm pretty sure this is as you would get from them. So interesting though. But they work really good. Very inexpensive. This block, the front and back block, I think that was like $200 Canadian, which is really cheap. As far as water blocks are concerned, you're lucky if you can get a water block for 200 US. So, yeah, the two blocks themselves weigh a ton, but yeah, this card is a beast of a card. And you've got this reinforcement bracket that goes all the way here to help with the flex, but you only have 2 mounting points here. A lot of the newer cards you're going to see, I think even 3090s, a lot of them just went with the triple bracket. Like, why wouldn't you go with the triple bracket here? It's already as wide as a triple slot and a bit. Why wouldn't you just have that triple bracket there? I don't understand that. But yeah, it has nice LED lights that light up on it. I wish I could start it up quickly and show you, but not tonight. And that, I think, is going to do it. Now here, if you want to see a little preview of what's coming on Monday, there's this dirty bee right here. Look at that. There is some serious dust in there. And we're going to take these fans out. We're going to clean this. Not one, but two. So this one's not as dirty, but we're going to start with this one. We're going to end with that one. And these are beautiful little cards. That's a 12 pin that the Founders Edition came with. Look how small that is. That's about the same footprint as the 16 pin, so the 12 volt high power cable that you're getting on 4000 series. Oh, excuse me. So as much as I hate them, like, look how small that footprint is from that power connector versus that. And in that same footprint, roughly, there's the 4-pin sense connectors that go on there, but you're gonna get do you like cleaning streams, Rowan? I actually really enjoy them. Like, I don't know, pulling like dust bunnies out of like the cards and that, and like, it's very therapeutic for me. I really enjoy it. Yeah, you should see the stream where I got this like this $5 iMac. The thing was disgusting inside. I actually like was wearing a mask and gloves while I was cleaning it. It was that gross. And I got that cleaned up pretty nicely and put back together. I'm still haven't gotten around to loading an OS on it, but I'm gonna put like I'm planning on putting a Linux OS on it and just running it with that. But yeah, so look at the size of this connector. So nice. I'm glad you like them. I like doing them. I really enjoy doing them. So like cleaning hardware, I might actually do one where I'm gonna pop open that water block and just clean out any of the sediment and clean out the pathways and get it looking nice and pretty. So stick around for that one. But yeah, look how small this connector is compared to these three. And the size of this connector, you can actually be pulling 600 watts of power with the 12 volt high power one. These here are like 450. That's like the max from those. So Or you could, I think you could do 600 from these depending on your power supply, but yeah, incredible. Like these small ones, they allow you to have much shorter boards. And I love that some of the oh here, look at how tiny that 3060 is. That 3060 Ti is compared to the 4090. Like it's just like, hi, I'm here. Hello. I am your little brother. Hi. Can I play games with you? No, go away. I don't know why they have that accent, but that's just what happened. So I don't know. Is this stuff going into my system? I don't know. Isopropyl alcohol, 99%. Ay. But yeah, that's all we're gonna do though for tonight. And that is gonna be the conclusion of this stream. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Roland, for swinging by. It's always a blast having you in the chats. Still waiting for you to do a live stream so I can hang out in your chat, but for now I've got to rely on the comment section. But yeah. Oh, I'm glad you found it interesting. I like to just sort of talk about hardware in general. But I don't know, with the gaming schedule, I haven't really had much time. So I felt like I really wanted to get back into more of the hardware stuff. And I think as I'm sort of doing more things, I'm going to probably be getting another case at some point. So when I'm doing that, I'll probably do a build stream with that. Although I might hold off on the case until I'm actually going to do a new full build. But I am going to be putting a new power supply in my wife's computer. So I will probably be doing a stream where I'm putting that in. That's probably going to be like a month or so from now or something like that. But cleaning stream on those other 3060 Ti's. This guy here is almost ready. I'm going to probably do some cleaning on the fan blades here just before I send it out. Make sure that there's no residual bits of hair. There's like a little one in there from my kitty. Let me see here. Just go in. I can't help myself, you know. Look at this. There we go. Hello, kitty hairs. Make a new cat from you. There's some more over here. Okay, is this gonna turn into another cleaning stream before I even? I'm like, I can't help myself. I have a disease. A cleaning disease. Oh. They hide in the most suspicious of places. Not most suspicious. In the most unlikely of places. Suspicious would be very likely. And obvious. Rowan, this is for you. This is for, well, actually, no, this is really for me. This is for me, and I'm glad if you can enjoy it too. Just gonna pull any. Oh, I see one more. There we go. All right. I'll stop now, though. That's good enough. Good enough for now. I'll clean that dust out later. But again, thank you everybody for watching. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Really appreciate the likes. It helps other people who might like this also to like this. Shares are also nice, but I know shares are kind of a big ask. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like half the stuff people tell me to share, I don't want to share. And so I feel like bad if I ever like tell people to share it. It's like, listen, if you really like it and you know somebody who will probably like it too, awesome, share it to them. But like, I don't know, the general shares, I always feel kind of like guilty asking for that just because it's like, I don't know, like it's a reflection of you. And I don't know if my streams are ever really worthy of being a reflection of people enough to be like sharing them. So I say like, and maybe share to like specific people that you think will like it as well. That's more what I would say. But yeah, as always, if you have any questions or anything, feel free. Obviously, you're on my Twitter, so you can hit me up on Twitter if you've got any questions about this sort of stuff, Rowan. I'm always happy to answer any questions. But if you're a new viewer or just somebody who stopped by and you're hanging around for the outro for this random long conversation of mine, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or leave a comment with any questions about this. I'm gonna probably run a few. I'll probably run a few benchmarks on this just to make sure that I've got good contact with the memory modules, with the thermal pads. Also to make sure that there's a good spread of the paste on the GPU die, and that everything's making really nice contact. And we'll go from there. I can always take a look here and just look through the eye of this. See if I can see any gaps between, but I don't think I can. Anyways, again, thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you all on Monday, where we're gonna do some cleaning of GPUs. Ooh, so fancy, so nice. All right, everybody, you have a great night, and hope the rest of your weekend rocks. Goodbye.